Man, oh man, we might actually be at the end of an era right before our eyes. If you think about it, Uzi was actually one of the icons of the SoundCloud era of the 2016 through, let's say, 2018 era, new age of hip hop. And so a lot of them have already passed away. XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, even Mac Miller, although he was from a past generation, Lil Peep, etc., etc. But the fact that Uzi is already potentially retiring not so long afterwards, like he's only been in the game since, say, 2015, so it's been 8 years or so. But that just shows that, I mean, Yeat's coming in the game. He has a Drake feature, or he was on a Drake song. Ken Carson's now stepping up, hitting at number 11 on Billboard and starting to hit 5 first week sales. Same thing with Destroy Lonely. Like, we are in a new era. Uzi is retiring, there's new artists coming in, starting to take other people's roles, and while Uzi still is at the top of his game, or very close to it, again, there are already other artists that are replacing some of the ones that have already fallen off. But this actually isn't the first time that Uzi has threatened or claimed that he was going to retire. In fact, during the pre-Eternal Atake era, when he was having label issues of not making enough money for EXO Tour Life, or not having creative control, or whatever it actually was, the issues behind the scenes with DJ Drama, when there were even rumors of DJ Drama didn't like how he was talking to his girlfriend. But at that point in time, in like 2019, Uzi was already talking about how he wanted to go back to before he made music and being a regular guy. And that's exactly what he just said in this new clip during his performance in the Pink Tape tour.
You know, Love Is Raised 3 will be my last album. No, it's okay. Relax. It's okay. After Love Is Raised 3, I guess I will go on another tour for Love Is Raised 3. But after that, I want to try to live a normal life. Thank you for all your support.
And while this still may be completely capped and just lies, because how many times has an artist claimed that they're gonna retire and then they still come back a year later, even months later, with a new project, whether or not they're actually using it as a marketing strategy, or because a lot of artists are bipolar, or just, you know, they're going through trials and tribulations. At a certain point in time, I even thought that I was gonna retire from YouTube and content creation, so I truly get it. Sometimes we just get bored with what we're doing, or not satisfied, let's say, with what we're doing in our careers or just in our lives. But I do feel like Uzi has already made his mark in the short time that he's been here. Again, he's only been here since 2015. It is 8 years later, and he's pretty much done everything that you can do as a rapper. He's dropped collab tapes with some of the all-time greats like Future, Gucci Mane. He's had collabs with Drake, the top artist in the world. He's had multiple top 10 hits like EXO Tour Life, and even Just Wanna Rock. He is one of the icons of the SoundCloud era. When you look back, you think of colored dreads, and who started that, or at least popularized it? Lil Uzi Vert. And as much as I hate to say it, maybe Lil Pump. He's one of the icons for even emo rap, which was part of this era as well. He made being weird and a rock star emo in the rap game cool, as Lucky stated in this Montereality interview.
It'll be really easy for kids to blend in because of people like Uzi. For real, I really fuck with that. It just make black kids, like, cause I know me growing up, going to like school in the hood with like hella like people like hood kids, closed-minded kids, you feel me?
And in addition to being an icon for this SoundCloud era, I'd also say that he helped popularize just the platform in general. I mean, this EXO Tour Life hit that we discussed a little bit earlier, he dropped as an exclusive on the platform and didn't really officially release it because it was a pack of 2 or 3 other songs on Love Is Rage 1.5 until it blew up on that platform, which he used as almost like an experiment, and that kind of became the blueprint for a lot of artists to this day. And so in many ways, not just this, Uzi has definitely paved the way for newer artists with his marketing and release strategies. In fact, I'd say that he pretty much perfected the album rollout with Eternal Atake, because as much as we love to listen to new rap albums, like there's select artists such as Cardi, Uzi, Travis. I don't know if there are really any others where they create such a community and experience or world surrounding their album. Not to mention all of the leaks that fans were salivating for, paying thousands of dollars. Now Juice WRLD is the king of that, with their fans forking over 20 grand for a couple songs here and there, but it really started, in my opinion, with Uzi back in the Eternal Atake days, in addition to Cardi for a whole lot of red. But at that point in time, Uzi was really the top dog. Which kind of leads me to one of my main points in why Uzi might be retiring, in that we all know that he was running the newer generation of music for a span of 5 to 6 years. He was leading the generation of like Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, Playboi Carti, X. Although X and Juice may have surpassed him in some ways, but Uzi gained popularity before them, and therefore they kind of looked up to him, at least for a year or two. But now, and I know there's a huge argument surrounding this topic, but Cardi has kind of taken this role starting from like 2021 after a whole lot of red, because the underground scene started to mold their sound and even aesthetics around Playboi Carti and the Opium label. And so overall, it was just seen that Playboi Carti was the more influential of the duo, and so Uzi was kind of losing his grasp over the next generation. And so with already reaching such heights of influence and popularity, I could see why one would want to retire gracefully rather than falling off first, because then your legacy is kind of tarnished in a way. And so what better way to end it with a bang than Love Is Rage 3, where basically he first came into the game with his first official album or mixtape being Love Is Rage, and now he's ending it with Love Is Rage 3, which again is his flagship series, as Love Is Rage 2 was his most popular album to this day, also encompassing one of his most popular songs, EXO Tour Life. And while it doesn't seem like a long time, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but he's almost lived out multiple careers in one, collaborating with so many different people, popping out to so many different countries, and recording in so many different genres like EDM, country, you name it, Uzi has done it. Rock, obviously, with Pink Tape. Like, if you were in Uzi's shoes, what else could you do in the music industry that would keep you interested and that you haven't already done before? I can't imagine this too fun, or like that he's inspired by anything else. Maybe he just needs to step back and come back a few years later, and maybe he'll have some new stories to talk about, or some new sounds that he's heard from a whole different planet. Plus, all of the public scrutiny and pressures of like selling first week album sales, or even just the album perceptions, because as we discussed a little bit earlier, with Cardi kind of taking over this influential role over the next generation of the underground artists, the internet's kind of turned on Uzi. Objectively speaking, we can all agree upon that, whether you agree or not with what they're saying. And so again, I can completely understand why he would want to step away from all that when he doesn't even need the money, because he has so many M's in the bank account. Like, it's just not even worth it at that point. He was once an artist that could do no wrong for 5-year span. Now the internet is kind of turned on him. Although I do have to say, it was great to see when Yachty dissed him that people were defending Uzi again. But even past just the pressures of the music industry and public opinions by fans, I also understand why he might want to fall back and just be a regular person for once, because he probably can't even walk out anywhere in public or go to a restaurant without being recognized and people wanting to take pictures or just invade his privacy. And this is why you see a lot of artists like Post Malone or Kanye who moved to Utah and Wyoming respectively, just to get out of this LA or industry lifestyle where there's a ton of fake love and clout chasers and just fans who are overly obsessive into the ins and outs of your life, whether or not what they are actually saying is true. In fact, a powerful quote that I reference a lot in a lot of my streams is from this famous angel investor named Naval Ravikant, where he states something along the lines of, "It's better to be rich and anonymous than broke and famous." And obviously, I know we all want to have money so that we have freedom to do things or buy the things that we want to have fun, but at the same time, when you get a certain level of fame, not even money can buy you freedom from just doing regular activities like going to the grocery store and picking up some candy or something, because somebody's gonna stop you or even like harm you, especially if you're a rapper and, you know, the whole gangster scene. Now, at the same time, when you're famous, it also opens up a lot more doors for you that money cannot buy. So there are definitely pros and cons to each, but I'm sure Uzi's already lived many lifetimes in this party lifestyle where he's ready to just be a regular human being and be on a farm and milk goats or something. Not to mention the fact that he posted something on his story a few days ago, maybe last week, where he was talking about JT being a baby mother. Now, obviously, this could just be a joke or like something that he calls her per se as his future baby mom. But at the same time, there probably is some sort of motivation for him to want to retire so that he can go raise a family with kids and different family members and just have a regular life. When you're flying to different countries all the time for tours and recording studios, one, it's not healthy for your own mind, but it also takes you away from the real things that matter in life, which are relationships with other people. But to sum it all up, I do think this might be actually a very good time for Uzi to retire, because we can all kind of see that there might be somewhat of a negative trajectory for his music and or album sales. And as much as we don't care about album sales, you know how much trolls do on the internet and how that affects, again, increasing the pressure on the artist, and it's just never good. And so retiring gracefully right now or soon after Love Is Rage 3 definitely would be better than maybe doing it 10 years down the line when he drops a bunch more projects and slowly continues to dwindle in the performance and quality of the music and potentially ruin the legacy that he's created for himself in the last 5 years as a legend status, in my opinion. So Love Is Rage 3 being his potentially last album will perform well because it's like his flagship series, similar to like the A Love Letter to You series that Trippie Redd has, although we all know how that performed on its last project. But I don't think Love Is Rage 3 is dried out yet, because I think a lot of people are anticipating the last and third of the album series. 5 is a little too much in my opinion, but after dropping Love Is Rage 3, what really can he do to progress his career even more? Whether or not you think he's reached his peak in quality of his music, at the same time, he's already released more projects than like the Beatles and other legendary bands and artists in such a short amount of time. So what would probably interest him more, and if I was in his position, is other ventures and turn into a businessman, like starting up his own label. I know he's signed a couple producers at this point. He could become a big boss like Rick Ross or P. Diddy or Jay-Z or even Carti with Opium, as he's already been involved in Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely's career. So he probably wants to have a couple sons for himself in the music industry and start developing new artists rather than focusing on himself. It might be fun to experience the music industry from a different perspective, let's say. Not to mention he could start or even buy businesses outside of the music industry like Rick Ross did with Wingstops. So the sky is the limit. He's not even 30 years old. He could literally take over the world with the amount of success and money he already has. But with all that being said, we have to have a caveat, a cap alert. He could just be in his feelings, although I do feel like he's saying it more and more frequently. So he definitely feels some sort of way about his career in the music industry. But how many times have we seen a lot of rappers who never really retire, but every single album they say this is their last one just for marketing, or again, they just get in their feelings a little bit because they're discouraged from the public perception about their music or just social media. He's already a legend and he hasn't passed away, so you know that everybody's serious when they say that. But with all that being said, it's been your boy Bobbalam signing off. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think about Lil Uzi Vert potentially retiring after Love Is Rage 3. Do you think it's cap, or do you think it's time to gracefully retire before falling off? And of course, make sure to like, subscribe to the Bob Gang if you with it. Peace out, clap people. Nice seeing you.